Today we are going to talk about selection control structure. This will be our topic today. So I would like you to ask yourself in your mind, what is selection and how does it affect programming? So Ibrahim, you can mute your mic so that we can continue well. Now, if we say selection control structure, what does this mean to you? Normally, the term control structure refers to a way a program can behave when it's in execution. In any programming language, there are three types of control structures. We have what we call sequence, we have what we call selection, and we have what we call repetition. For for your information, the first program that you normally write, like the program you have been writing, whereby we write a program and we run it, it gives us one result, that is sequence. That program is limited. It can only give you one result. So far, we have done sequencing without your knowledge. It's only that I wasn't mentioning it. But I'm going to talk about this so that you can understand. Whenever you write a program, which is actually following statement by statement, and for example, if I give you a simple program of adding two numbers, and then you write that program starting from the header file going down to the output, computational output, that program is classified as sequence because it just does one function without branching anywhere, and then it gives you the solution. Now, such a kind of a program cannot be used well because we need our programs to make decisions. Like when you go to a supermarket and you buy something, and then you give money, the system must make the change from the amount depending on what you have bought. So that program must use another control structure. Apart from sequencing, we have what we call selection. Selection control structure makes a program to be powerful, whereby a program will make what we call, it will make an action depending on a particular condition. It will choose the action to take after testing a particular condition. Such kind of a scenario is what we refer to as selection control structure. So theory cannot help us so much. We are supposed to be practical. So I would like to go direct to the practical bit of this so that you can be able to understand. In any programming language, there are three types of selection control structures. Namely, we have what we call single way selection. Two, we have what we call two-way or double selection. And then three, we have what we call multiple selection. So as a programmer, you're supposed to know what we mean by single way selection using and actually explaining using a program. You are supposed to know what is two-way selection using and actually understanding a program. You should know what is multiple selection using and understanding a program. So let's start with the first one, what we call single way selection. Now, for information, single way selection, I hope that you have somewhere to write. Single way selection is we normally have one condition, one action. One condition, one action. So I'm giving you a shortcut of your understanding. So if you're able to write somewhere, it will be able to help you understand the coding and also understand the program itself. So we are saying in single way selection, there is only one action and one condition to be tested and one action. And it's achieved using a keyword in C we call if. If statement is achieved using a keyword we refer to as if statement. So in short, we are saying if you have to do single way selection in C, you use an if statement, and the keyword for you to achieve that is called if. And for the purpose of explanation, we quantify the if statement, if word, by saying if statement. So in this case, it might not be very clear to you, but as I'm continuing explaining, it will be very much clear to you. Let's see how this is achieved in a program. This is the syntax you are going to follow for a C program. This one is not supposed to be there. It's supposed to be C, although they are related, but never mind. It's supposed to be C programming. So normally, to introduce this particular if statement for single way, the general overview or the general syntax normally is you write the keyword if, and then you open a bracket, and then you put what we call a test expression. Class here, a text expression is actually a comparison. You can say, for example, if you are comparing a mark, you can say if mark is greater than 50. So this becomes a condition which to be tested. Then you close the bracket of that test condition. Then again, in our program, we are going always an if statement must have a body which is opened by the opening curly bracket, and then you put all that the work the if statement is going to perform, then you close it with a closing curly bracket. This is very important. You should be able to know this is a general overview or the syntax of the if statement. And when you only have one if in your program, this one is called single way selection because there is only one test condition, and after the one test condition, there is only one action in the body of the if statement. Now, still, I'm sure you are still not understanding. Let's move on to the next slide so that you can be able to get properly what we mean. So these statements on this current slide are actually trying to explain what I've generally simplified in my explanation on the meaning of one condition, one action. So we are saying here if the if statement evaluates the test expression inside the parentheses. What does this mean to you? Remember, class, the keyword parentheses is the same as saying brackets. So here, this is what we mean. If I can go back, this is what is going to be evaluated here in the parentheses. This is what we call the parentheses, or what we refer to as the brackets. So this is going to be evaluated or checked. The meaning of evaluation is checking the condition. As I initially said, initially that we can have max score is less or greater than 50. So we are evaluating that. So if statement evaluates that in this particular explanation, then if the test condition is evaluated to be true, the keyword to be true. For example, if max is more than 50, then the statement inside the body of the of that of the body of the if is executed. This is what we mean. Okay, I am getting a question as I'm explaining. Ibrahim is asking a question that is this same as loops? Right. For the sake of a class, no. For the sake of a class, no. We have three types of control structures, as I said. We have sequence, we have selection, and repetition. Repetition is the same as loops. So we'll be tackling that. After we finish up with selection today, our next topic will be loops, or what we call iterations or repetition. They mean the same thing. So I believe this is clear to all of you. Now let's proceed. We are just understanding this particular syntax. The test condition is evaluated, and then if it's found to be true, the action or what is inside the body of the if statement will be actually executed if this is true. Hence, if the test is found to be false, statement inside the body of the if is skipped, meaning that if this is no, then the flow of the program will come below here. It will not come inside here. This is what we are trying to explain on this slide. So let us move on so that we can be able to get. We are also saying that because we need you to get The if selection statement is a single selection statement because it selects or ignores a single action. So it actually does one action. It can select or ignore the single action. Maybe if I can go back again to this particular, it will simply select this action or ignore it. It comes out of it. That is the meaning of that explanation we are trying to understand. The if selection statement either performs, that is selection, an action if a condition is true, or skips the action if the condition is false. I think we are clear on this. We can say that now we have understood a bit of how the if statement for single selection performs its work. But still, we need to go further and do a program that is going to enable us understand. So in this case, I'm going to use this program to be able to make you understand the meaning of single way selection. The meaning of single way selection using if statement. The meaning of single way selection using the if statement. I hope that all of you are seeing the screen and you're able to read. Now, this is a simple program which is going to ask a user to input a score, and then the score will be compared. If it's found to be greater than 50 or equals to 50, then there'll be a kind of a congratulation message, and the score will be displayed. And if the score is less than 50, it means that in this case now, the condition is false. Then there is nothing, sorry, this score will not be displayed, but the flow will only display. This is a single way selection using only if statement. So it's important for us to get that. So let's go starting from the beginning. Now the first statement normally is the preprocessor directive combined with the header file. So we shall say channel include standard input output.head. This one, you know, is actually going to be used so that the meaning of printf and scanf will be known by the compiler. Then immediately we start our main function by saying the int main, opening and closing bracket, and then we open the body of the main function. Then we declare a variable called int score for the purpose of inputting the marks to the computer memory. Then we'll ask a user of this program to enter the number by prompting using the function printf. Then we say open bracket and then enter, in quotes enter an integer, and then we close the bracket. We terminate our statement with a semicolon. So we take our second function scanf so that it can now take the user's input to the computer RAM. We specify what kind of value, which is actually an integer with no decimal number. So we are going to use this format specifier, which is actually in quotes, that is %d, comma. Then we link what the user has just typed to the variable declared. So we use what we call the and sign. And remember, we said this is concatenation. The keyword, the scientific word for programming is called concatenation, but for the layman, we normally say we use score. Then we have closed the bracket, and again we have the semicolon. So you should always be very careful when looking at printf and scanf. Scanf requires you to understand how. So this value will be entered into the computer RAM, then waiting for the value. So here we are testing if the number that was entered is supposed to be 50 and is greater than 50. Sorry, for this one you should be know this should be changed. We are comparing the number. So this is a typographical error. Needed to change that. I'll change so that we compare number whether sorry is greater than 50. So this is our test condition. So for us to have single way selection, this is what we have to be very careful. Our program will have the statement if only. So we shall have if, open our bracket, and initially we said this can also be called parenthesis, and we put in the test condition. Then here we are going to say if actually score. Again, I needed to change this. If score, sorry, you should make this change again. if score, because we are using score, is greater or equals to 50, then you can see we open the body of the if selection. We open the body and then we put in the body what our statement will do, or the if will do in this case if the condition is true. Meaning that we are saying in this case for this particular program, we are simply displaying the value or the message that printf, well done, comma, your score is. So again, we specify the kind of format. What are we displaying? Is this a decimal number or an whole number? Since it's an whole number, we are going to use percentage D. Then this particular front slash n, normally backslash n is normally used to take the cursor downwards after displaying. So this message will be displayed up to this point, and because of the comma, the score will be brought in from the computer RAM, because we use this variable to enter. So the message will be done. If, for example, you enter 60, well done, your score is 60. Then the cursor will go downwards on the output screen. Then after that, we close the body of our if statement. Look here, the body of the if statement must be closed. Then immediately after we close the body of the if statement, we decide to display another message because we are checking whether the if statement is working well. Here, so the flow will come here and then it will get our printf again for the output. It will display the message. This is a single way selection using only if statement. Then we return 0. Remember, we have been saying when the compiler encounters the return 0, it knows that the program has run successfully, and it's actually like a communication flag to the operating system that this program has successfully done its work. And then now we close the body of the main function. We close the body of the main function. So remember, we are opening the body of the if statement, and if the condition is true, we shall display this information and then close that body of this particular if statement. And again, after this one, which is actually below the if statement, and then the return, we must close the body of the main function. So from this scenario, we are using this test that if you enter 90, we expect that you'll get the message, well done, your score is 90, because of this syntax here. And then again, this also will be displayed, and then because it's just flowing after the flow comes of the if statement, you'll also encounter this one, and then it will show you this single way selection using only if statement. If you enter 49, now this is what happens. 49 is less than 50. That means this condition is false. What happens? The flow will not go inside the body, but it will come out of the body and they come below outside if statement, and it will encounter this statement only. It will display only this, and then return 0 and then end. That's why you are seeing that this is single way selection using only if. So for your information, single way selection is achieved by using the keyword if, and there is only one condition and one action for the if body. I believe I'm clear on this, and if there is a question, kindly place it on the public chat, those who cannot be able to speak, and those who are speaking, kindly, if there's something you want clarification, I request you to unmute your mic, and then you can ask for the sake of your class so that they can also hear what we are asking. So can we proceed that way? Let's proceed. Yeah, let us be fast so that we can move faster. We really want to understand so many concepts and within a short period. But I will not proceed until you confirm to me you have followed. And if you not, we will repeat again for your sake of understanding. Kevin, you can speak. I can see your mic is out on. Oh, Kevin, you can speak.
Will you please pardon?
I repeat again.
Yes.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that. So let me see the multiple typing coming in. Okay, Vincent, we proceed. Understood. Okay, I will repeat again for the purpose of understanding and full understanding, so it is for your advantages. We are talking about selection, and selection, we normally say programs can make decisions depending on conditions. Selection is a control structure amongst two others, whereby we have sequencing and also we have looping. So in selection, a program normally makes what we call a branch, depending on a condition it gives. In C or another programming language, basically there are three types of selections that can be achieved. One is called single-way selection, another one is called two-way selection, another one is called multiple selection. Multiple selection means there are several selection, about 10, more than 2 actually. So for C programming, we can do the same. To start with, we can start with single-way selection, and we are saying in single-way selection, in C is achieved by the keyword if. Hence, we are saying if statement in C. And if you have to write a program for single way, we'll only have an if statement, which is 1 with its body and its condition and its action. So we have said the syntax of if normally is given by if, opening and closing bracket, which also refers parenthesis, and inside here, this is the location where the condition is placed. Like for example, in the upper and the previous program we have just looked at, we can say if score is greater or equals to 50, that becomes our test condition, is 1. Then if the condition is true, we go to the body of the if statement, and we are saying the if statement must have an opening curly bracket and a closing curly bracket that marks the body of the if statement, and then inside here we will put what action that if statement will actually do. Like now in the previous question is printing that well done and displaying the score. And if the condition is false, then the control will not come inside the action. It will skip the action and it come below this particular section. So as we proceeded, we are able to discuss the meaning of parentheses, which I've mentioned that this is the condition is placed inside the parentheses, and normally this is called the brackets, and this condition must be evaluated by this keyword called if. Evaluation means checking. After checking and the condition be found to be true, then this action will be taken. If it's false, nothing will happen. This body of the if will be skipped and action will come below the if statement. And then we decided now to go to the program that will enable us to understand. Now this is the program of asking the user to enter a mark or a score, and then the program is going to check the score and see if the score is above 50, then it's going to give an action which is actually displaying the message well done and then showing us the score. So we started by repeating again that this is our header file with the processor directive, which is put in because we want to use printf and scanf in our program. Then we also bring in our main function, which is int main opening and closing bracket. We open the body of the main function. Then we declare a variable called score, which you are going to use to hold the score for testing. Then we ask the user to enter the mark by saying printf, enter the integer. Then we take that value to the computer memory by using scanf, opening bracket, and then specifying the format. What kind of data would this variable take? Percentage D in double quotes means it will be a number, a whole number. Then we put a comma, then we take that variable to that value to the computer variable declared. In this case, we have said the and sign is used to link what the user has entered to the variable declared in our computer memory. Then after that, we are going to check. Now we are saying is the score. Yeah, I needed to change because typographical error is supposed to be if the score is greater than 50, then this is just a comment. We are saying if our score is greater or equal to 50, then if that is true, if you enter a score which is above 50 or 50, then the action or the flow of the program will come inside the body of the if, whereby it will say print f, well done, your score is, again, here we have said, because we are going to display a whole number, we have to have the percentage D, the format specifier must be included. And then again, I said this is an escape sequence for taking the cursor downwards after displaying on the first statement. Well done, your score, then maybe 90, and the cursor will move downward because of this escape sequence. Then this is can only happen if our test condition is true. If true, then there will be one action. If false, then the action will be skipped. Our flow will come down and it will only get this statement alone. Will not get this statement because our condition is false. Now in this case, if our mark is above 50, then we are going to get well done. Your score is because of this variable, it will be taken from the computer RAM. For example, if it's 90, and then again after that, the flow will come down, get this statement. It will also display this same statement. This is single way selection using only if statement. So there will be two of us. There will be two outputs. But if it's false, like now, if you put 49, the condition will be tested: is score greater or equals to 50? Is 49 greater or equals to 50? No, that's false. So the action will not, the flow will not come into the body of the if, but it will come out of the body, and then it will come below the closing of this body, and then it will display only this one. And that's why you are saying the output will be this is single way selection using only. So class here, what we are emphasizing on is you should know that single way selection is achieved by the if statement with one condition and one action. With one condition and one action. I believe I'm clear on this one. Brian, you can, Kevin, you can ascertain that you are now fine, so that we can proceed to the next level.
It's fine. Now my question is,
Yes. Go ahead.
Can we do any practical in Kata for this?
Yes, the practical is very well. You know, once if you had a computer, Kevin, if you had a computer, right? And then you open the code block, we normally use code block, right?
Yes.
We open code blocks, and then once you open code block, it will just open, and then you'll have to click on the command file, new new file. Yes. Once you click there, it's simple. In fact, you are going to type this. I'll be giving you that that format of opening the compiler. Then you type all this in that compiler, and then there is a command called compile. You click on compile, right?
Yes.
Once you click on compile, it will be checking for errors. If you make errors, the compiler will tell you there is an error. Your program will only run or execute when it's error free. Then there is also another command within the interface called run. So when you click on run, the program will run and it will give you this statement: enter an integer, then you press enter key, then the program will execute itself, and then it will give you the values depending on what you entered. So basically, Kevin, what you are saying here, you must have code blocks in your computer. I am sure most of you currently are maybe on phone. Is it true, Kevin? Kevin, are you there?
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. So
yes.
after the challenge is making the challenge of COVID-19 is making us do things abnormal. I'm really urging, can you be able to access a computer somewhere, even when you're not in class? Hata kama ni mahali unatembea tembea.
Yes.
That will be very good for us. If you can do that, then it will be good for me to tell you now. Download code blocks. It's a free version of this programming language. Very free. You just download and then install. Once you install, then you could be testing these programs that we are now unfolding here. What I've done, the kind of programs I'm giving you, I'm just making sure that these programs, they look exactly what you will be doing them in your compiler text editor. So basically, if we if we open the compiler and then you start doing them, we'll take almost 3 hours doing them. Kevin, yes. Are you there? I want us to get the concept. Are we doing fine?
Yes,
Kevin,
good.
Yes, I think we get the concept. From there, we will be able to go offline. Remember, again, we are saying programming is understanding. Once you understand, this is just an example. You can do several different programs using the same concept. So I believe we shall continue, and maybe as time goes by, we might take 1 hour or 2 hours trying to code the director. But allow me first to make you get the concept. Maybe next week we will do some coding and see the way they are. But I encourage, if you have laptops, we have our desktop, we can install code blocks, and when we code and have errors, I will be very glad to have those errors passed to me so that I can be able to work on them. And for understanding, for information, Kevin, even the Microsoft programmers, those who have come up with systems, even M-Pesa, if you write a program and then it runs from the first day you are learning programming and the last day you're programming, then that's not good programming. Programs must make errors, and then when you debugging is the process of removing errors. That program will enable you to understand further the concept of that programming language. Kevin, I think we are now together. Can we proceed?
Yes.
All right. Now I can say that today we are quite a number, which is good. Let me now proceed to another example of two-way selection. If one-way selection is okay, let's look at two-way selection. Yeah? Now, two-way selection, what happens is that there will be two conditions and there must be two actions. On one condition, which is achieved by one-way condition, is achieved by if statement. But now when you have two conditions, you must also bring in what you call the else. So whenever you see a program written if and then also we have else, you should know that that's a two-way selection control structure. And this must be used, the two must be used concurrently. In other words, they must be in your program so that we quantify that program to be a two-way selection. And we have said that there must be two actions. There must be two actions in that particular program to be called or referred to as two-way selection. Now we are saying the if-else statement or selection statement performs an action if a condition is true or performs a different action if the condition is false. So class, you can see from this statement, we have just said that there must be two actions. And the format is, it has to use the if and else statement. This must be there, and there must be two actions. There must be two actions. Okay? I believe that is clear. One action will be for the true. Are you getting the action, the echo? Okay. Excuse me. Ambia arudishe chini kidogo. Ambia arudishe sauti kidogo, echoing. Just a moment. Okay. So sorry for that. If else selection, here we have an action and there must be two actions, and these two actions means that one will be for if and that action will be for else. So for you to understand, it means that you must have the if else in your program and there must be two actions. One action will be under the body of the if and then the other action will be on the body of the else statement. So let's see how this is done. I'll be using another example so that you can be able to understand. I believe you are seeing what is on the screen at the moment. I believe you are seeing what is on the screen at the moment. So this program is the same program, but now we are going to see how the if else will come in to quantify this program to be called a two-way selection program. So the program is going to check the score that is going to be entered, and then grade the pass if the score equals or is greater than 50, and give a fail if the score is less than 50. Let's see how this is going to be achieved. So the first statement, as usual, we should have the preprocessor directive with the header file. Should have the preprocessor directive with the header file. Standard input, output.h. Then we have the main function coming in with the opening and closing brackets, and then we shall have the opening of the main function body. Then we declare our variable score. So again, we do the same. We ask the user to enter the score using printf function. Then we take the score to the computer RAM using the scanf, specifying the format specifier, channel %d, and then comma and underscore, meaning that we are concatenating, we are linking this particular score the user is entering to the variable in the computer RAM. Then check the score. So we shall have our if statement, and inside the if statement bracket or parentheses, we put the condition. If score is greater or equals to 50, if that is true, then we open the body of this if statement. Then we shall display the message or the action. In this case, we are just displaying pass. So we shall printf, open the bracket, and then with the double quotes, pass, and then close the bracket, and then terminate the statement. And then after that, you close the body of the if statement. Since it's two-way selection, we will introduce the else part of this particular if statement. So I would like you to know, class, that else is part of the if statement. Else is like a children, and the if statement is like the father or the mother. So else also must have a body. This is for the action which is false. Else means that this condition is different, is not conforming. So what happens? What happens is that else you open the body of the else statement, and then you put the action, the second action in this case, printf, then you say open the bracket and say the fail, and then close it with the semicolon. Oh, I hope these people can. All right, let's proceed. So after that, we'll have to have return 0, and then this is a communication that our program, has run successively, and the communication is with the operating system to actually release the resources and of the RAM to the other program within the computer system. So basically, you see what happens here. I want to repeat again. In two-way selection, we must have an action on the if statement, and if that action, we must have a test on the if statement. Then if the action is true, then there will be an action. If the condition is true, there will be an action in the body of the if statement. Then after that, if this condition is false, we must have the else part of the if statement, and in the else part of the if statement, we are going to put the second action if this statement is false, meaning that else will actually have the second action, which is in this case print fail. And again, note the else statement also must have an opening and a closing curly bracket. Then finally, we return 0. Then we close the body of the function. So for information two-way selection, you'll find that there are actually two actions. The condition is tested once on the if, and if found to be true, the action on the body of the if will be executed, and if found to be false, the action in the body of the else statement will be executed. Let's say, for example, if we put 90, or if the user enters 90, then 90 will be compared here. If 90 is 90 greater than 50, yes. So the flow of the program will come inside the body of this if statement, and it will encounter this particular statement, printf pass, and then the action will be passed. If we take 49 and we place it here, the 9 is 9 greater or equals to 50. That's false. So the execution will come out of this. It will not even enter the body of the if. It will just come, and then it will encounter this else statement, comes inside the body of the else statement, and find this particular action, print fail, and displays this. So this else stands for false. So the second action is false, and it must be actually be given by the else statement. So in short, two-way selection is achieved by if else, whereby there is the side of the if, the condition is tested, and then the actions, one is placed in the body of the if statement if the condition is true, another one is placed in the body of the else statement is false. I believe this explanation might be okay. I have a feeling that you have followed, and if not, please, if you have not followed, any of you, kindly let me know. I will appreciate. To repeat again, is it clear, class? Can one of you confirm? If you have a mic, you can confirm. If you can type on the public chat, also that will be fine for us. Kindly, so that you can proceed well. Lawrence, yes, Lawrence, I can see you today. That's good. Yan is typing. Very well, Yan. So can I sample? Right, Brian, that's okay. I think we can proceed. Multiple typing here. We can proceed. Thank you. I'm glad that today you are following very fast. Although I've taken you in a different gear, which is fast enough, I am glad that you are understanding. I'm happy and proud of you, guys. Let us proceed. Now, this program, for the sake of learning, this will be done later. It's already done. This is a program that is going to actually ask a user to enter. The cashier to enter a value of the amount of amount to be paid for goods that have been bought from a particular shop. So if you buy more goods, there will be more tax on it. If you buy less goods, that is, if the amount is below 25,000, the tax will be lower. So if it's above 25 or equals to 25, you will be given a tax of 7.5 will be added to the amount you are going to pay. And if it's less than 25,000, a tax of 5% will be added. So how can this be achieved? This can be achieved using what you have simply learned, the if else statement. And for your sake, this program has been done for you. I did it for you because I didn't want it us to get. So my question is, should I go through the program, or I bypass it so that you can read it, and then later we'll get whether you have understood, or I go through it again? One of you to confirm very fast. I go through it. I go through the program.
Yes, sir.
I go through it. Okay. Now, let me go through it for the sake of understanding. So this program is going to have two actions. From the program, we are going to compute and add a tax of 7.5 to our value, and also another action is 5% to our value. So let's see how we can be able to write this program using the if else statement in C. So as usual, again, we'll start our processor and header file, standard input std.add. Then after that, we will continue and open we start our main function int main. Then we open the body of the main function. We declare the local variable which is known to this function int amount. We declare another variable for computation purposes. We are calling tax computed amount. So we decided to put this word like this because we wanted to have a meaning. So we normally use what we call underscores. Otherwise, we could have joined them together. But for the purpose of proper programming and proper communication, proper documentation, you always encourage that you can use, if you have more than one word for your variable, you can use what you call underscore for the purpose of concatenation, joining the words together. So this is actually one variable, tax computed amount. Then we ask the user, or we ask the cashier to enter the amount for that good which has been put. Then after asking that, we simply take the value to the computer RAM by using scanf. Since it's a whole number, we use the format %d, meaning you are going to have a whole number, then we have the comma, then we shall have our concatenation again. We shall link this value to this variable. Then this amount or any amount that will be entered by the cashier will be stored in this variable, waiting for the subject of the condition. Then we start our two-way selection. We say if the amount that has been entered is greater or equals to 25,000, and if that is true, then we shall come inside the body of the if statement. Then we compute the total amount. We compute the total amount. Ibrahim, you can mute your mic a bit. Mute your mic so that the rest can hear. Or you have a question? Oh, Ibrahim, can mute your mic a bit. All right, thank you. Now we are saying here. Now we are checking the amount. If the amount entered is greater or equals to 25, then we will compute the amount and we shall add the tax, which is 7.5%. So the formula is tax computed amount is going to be 25 bracket 25,000 plus now the tax, which is actually bracket 25,000 times 7.5 divided by 100, so that you can get that tax. So once you get the tax, it's going to be added to this value, and then you will be able to get the total value. Then after that, we want to actually display that value that we have just computed. So we shall say printf computed amount plus tax, this plus this. Again, because it's a whole number, %d, we close our statement, double quotes, then comma, tax computed amount. This is the variable that has been used to compute. So definitely that amount will be displayed. Then we close the bracket for this printf statement with another statement. If the condition was true, that means if this amount was above 25 or equals to 25. If the amount is less than 25, let's say for example it was 24, we will actually compute the tax. We'll compute the tax. Tax computed will be equals to that amount. Again, allow me to it's not supposed to be 24 here. Now allow me to quantify these. Even here, kindly, this is good. I think it will have confused you. We could use the variable instead of using the fixed amount, because here now we are actually making a mistake. We are just using 25 only. If let's say the user now has entered 24, how will be 24 be added? So basically what will happen, you don't have to use the fixed value here and here. It's supposed to be the variable. So you'll simply say the tax computed amount is going to be equals to amount plus 25,000, the amount plus amount again multiplied by 5 divided by 100, and then definitely that will give you the value. It will give you the right value that is computed. Actually this one you need to check this formula. I've seen that. Is good that we have gone through this. It's the amount. So instead of using a fixed value, we'll use the amount. And remember, the variable amount can hold any different value that is entered by the user, because the user cannot enter fixed value. Now amount, let's say if it was 24, so 24 will come, it will be 24 plus amount, which is actually 24 multiplied by 5 divided by 100. So here we are finding the tax, then 24 plus the tax, you get the value. Then after that, we are going to display, we shall display printf computed amount plus tax will be equals to, now you use this variable, you use tax computed amount, and remember again, it must be written clearly the way it was declared and the way it has been used here. So that's where we're saying comma tax, and then you have the we have the underscore computed amount, and then we close. Then we close the body of the else statement, then we return 0. We return 0. And then communicating that our program has run successfully, then we close the body of our, we close the body of our, we close the body of our, we close the body of our function. All right, Brian, let me again explain. I can see you are not okay. Let me explain this for all of you again. This is the value. Let me use this. Okay, assume that the marks that was entered is 25 for this case. Let me use this one as an explanation for Brian. We'll get the amount because we are getting the tax, and then we add that tax to the amount that has been given. So for us to get the tax, we take the value, this value that is here, 2500. Note this, 25,000 is equals to 100%. Are we together? 100% is equals to 2500. What about 22.5? That's what we are calculating. Or what about 5? So for us to get, you can see this division is not only actually affecting 0.5, is actually affecting the entire multiplication. So here we want to get the value which is equivalent to 2.5 from this value. So we are saying 100% is equals to 25,000. What about 2.5? Sorry, 7.5. So basically this is the formula for that. We have a bracket. We first multiply 25,000 by 7.5, then bracket what we get, we divide by 100 so that we can get the value. The same case applies here, whereby we'll get, if it's 24, we have 24,000 times 5 into bracket, then we divide by 100 to get that tax. I hope Brian is clear. I hope it's clear. That's just a formula we have just formed for this computation. Is it clear? Yes, Brian, can you confirm? Can you confirm? Yes, I'm waiting for your confirmation before I proceed. Can you confirm, Pran? Can you confirm? In fact, you can do your calculations using. Oh, okay. I can get. Let me go back to this. Now, this program is to compute the amount to be paid plus VAT for goods bought in plus VAT for goods bought in a man shop. If goods amount is 25 and above, the tax will be 7.5. Otherwise, if the amount is below 25,000, tax imposed will be 5% of the amount. Is it clear now? It is clear. Good. All right. Now let's proceed kindly. Thank you. Let's proceed. So, any question so far? So good. Any question on this particular example? Any question? I'm remaining on that example because I don't want to. So if you put, if you can calculate, if you put 25,000, the computed amount plus tax will be this. If you put 24,000, the computed amount plus tax will be that. You can always confirm with your system and see whether those are the correct figures. Now, any question, and the question I'm asking, are you able to understand how we have now used the if else statement outside the class example and trying to solve a real life situation example? Is it making sense to you? Is it making any sense to you? Kindly, one or two to confirm for me to proceed. One or two to confirm. Okay. All right. Thank you. I believe I can proceed. I believe your brain is okay, although it's on Friday. I believe that your brain is smart. We can proceed. Should I proceed for another few minutes? Silence means consent. I can proceed. Thank you. Now, let us look on another example. This is another example of checking your age. The age of a person is entered. And then if the age is greater or equals to, you can see now I know you the program, you can be able to explain on that. If the age is greater than 18, then you get a message you are eligible for 14. These are 14 simple program for 14. Else statement meaning your age is below that, you are not eligible for 14. So if you enter age 17, when you are prompted to enter the age, definitely that is false. So the flow of the program will come outside and then it will come to else statement and it will encounter this printf and you are not eligible for 14. Gives you that result. If you enter 19, 19 is greater than 18. So we come inside here, we encounter you are eligible and that's going to be displayed here. That's another example that I wanted to use, which is even easier for your understanding. I believe you'll go through them at your offline time and see whether they are making sense. Allow me to proceed. So, multiple way selection. Multiple way selection is when we have more than 3 conditions. There are several of them. How do we achieve this? We are saying if else if statement is used when we need to check multiple conditions. So, single selection is achieved using if only. Two-way selection is achieved by using if else. Now, multiple selection will be achieved using what we call if else if. Please note that one. In fact, if there was somewhere, you could write if one single way selection, if else two-way selection, if else if multiple selection. So let's look at this. Multiple selections can be more than 3 or can be 3. Now let's look at this example we are going to use. we are prompting a programmer to write a program to ask a student to enter his or her score, and the program displays appropriate answer depending on the value, or depending sort of on the criteria given here. If the score is going to be more than 90, the message will be got A and you passed. Still, if the score is more than 90 or equals to 80, sorry, you got an A and you passed. If the score is above 70 and equals to 70, you got a B and you passed. If a score is greater than 60 or equals to 60, you got a C and a passed. If the score is greater or equals to 50, you got a D and a passed. If the score is greater or equals to 40, you got an E and failed. Else, if the value is not within there, you will be told that that's actually an invalid answer. So when you look at this particular criteria or the conditions, you may ask yourself, if you are talking about Mwalimu, you're talking about if the score entered is greater or equals to 40. You got an E and a fail. This is supposed to be less than. It's supposed to be less than. Sorry for that. Less than or equals to. So use the less than sign. And then another score is greater or equals to 50. You got a D and a passed. So look at this particular scenario on that particular operator. Greater or equals to 50. Mwalimu, what are you saying here? So you are saying if the score is greater or equals to 50, meaning that 51, still you'll get a D and a what? Passed. 52, you got a D and a passed. 53, you got a D and a passed. 55, you got a D and a passed. 58, you got a D and a passed. 59, you got a D and passed. 60, you got a C. How will the program know? How will the program know that now 6 is C? How will that program know? This is what is really a difficult scenario to understand. The use of if-else statement normally does what we call the demarcations or the limits of all these particular marks, the way we are going to look at it. So allow me to go to the program so that now that is the most important thing, to see how the syntax you're going to use to be able to see whether we can be able to write that program and achieve our goal successively. I request you to be, yes, Osborne.
Yeah, in the score of greater than 40.
Yes, less than. So suppose I've told you this is supposed to be less than or equals to 40. So this should change.
Okay, can it be both?
Sorry?
Can it
Sorry?
be both greater or less than? Because in the D section,
yes.
In the D section, it's greater or equal to 50. What if someone has 45?
49. A very good question. A very good question. Now, this should change to 49. Is it okay, Osborne? Osborne, our lower limit will be 49. Hello. Our lower limit will be 49. If we change this operator to be less than, the reason why I'm doing this is because I want you to get to understand so that how 0 up from 0 to 49 is going to be factored in. That's my concern. Please note that. Very important. So a good observation, Osborne, and we are not going to change 49 because we need to cater for that. Shwan, I can see your mic is on.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please ask.
To me, this if then else if, it's the same as nested if, Ama.
No, the nested if is different from if else statement.
Okay.
I will be explaining that. Actually, in our learning, we are going to talk about nested leaf. Okay,
Okay.
are we there? But we can simply call them nested if else, not nested if, but nested if else. Are we there?
Yes.
Are we there? Nested what? You should note that nested if else, but not nested if. There is a difference between nested if and nested if else, which we'll be getting soon. In fact, in these notes, I've gathered for that. It's already gathered for you, the whole class. So allow me to go to the program. It will make us understand further on this particular criteria you're trying to unfold. All right. So I've done that program for you so that we can be able to work on it. We can be able to understand. All right. Now, the program still is a C program, so we must have the header file, and you use the processor directive, bring in our header file. We must have our main function, and then we declare the mark variable that we're going to use for the purpose of entering the mark to be compared. Then we are just asking a simple question. Enter your score in structured programming. I'm just becoming creative. You're doing structured programming. And I believe most of you are going to score 80s and the 90s if possible. I don't think that there will be somebody scoring below 40. And if there is, then we must do a lot of work for that. Now, enter the score. Then scanf. This is a value which is a whole number. The format specifier will be %d, comma, concatenate the value with the mark variable. Then immediately you enter that, you start comparing. So we shall start our first action. If mark that has been entered is greater or equals to 90, then we come inside the body of the if statement. Then we print you got an A and you passed. Now, class note, we start from the highest level. We start from the highest level, going downwards. We start from the highest level, going downwards. Then, if this mark will be found to be less than 90, then this will be false. So we shall go down outside the body of the if statement and encounter else if. Else if now becomes part of the if statement. But it is a small, we can quantify it as a small if statement. Then here we say else if, that means that value is less than 90. But now we compare it. Let's start giving our another limit. Is greater or equals to 80. That means 80 now is the lower part. So here we have gathered from 80 to 89. Then again, we come to the body of the else statement, print, you got a A, and then again, you passed. So from 80 to 90 going upward would be an A. Again, if that mark was actually 79, then again, that's false. We shall come out of this if else statement, then come and encounter another else if statement, then check the mark again. Now the mark is greater than 70, which is okay, and again not equals to 70, but is greater. So this one is actually within this particular else if. So we shall go inside the body of the else if, print, you got a B and passed. If it was 60, then this is false. Or 62, this is false. Or 69. Then again, we will not go inside the body of this else if, we shall come out of it and encounter another else if. And here now we have, if the mark is greater or equals to 60, meaning that it can be 60 up to 69, then that's okay. We come inside the body of this else statement. Again, we say you got a C, and again you passed. In case you add a value like 59, Then again to be compared here, and then that will be false. 59 is less than 6, so we shall not go inside this, the body of this, but we come out of the body, we come out of that particular test condition, go outside the body of that else if, we encounter another else if, and in this case again, you find that we are now within this range. Then this one will be, is under 59, right, supposed to be here, because our condition is should be either 50 or greater than 50, which is now 59, and it has been checked up there. Then again we come inside the body of this particular, we print, else if we print you have got a D and then you failed. Now this marking system is very high, the score for failing is quite big. Then again, if you got 49, then this is not the case. If you got 49, then definitely we are going to go again and check because we cannot go into this body because 49 is less than 50. Definitely we are going to come here and be able to come and check the else if statement, which is here. Yes, this mark 49 lies here because it's above, and then again we continue, you got an E and then you failed. Okay, then after that, for us to close the body of if statement, remember we said these are children of E. The if else, these if else, if else, if else, if else, if else are children of the if. So they are taken as actually part of if. So part of if must be closed by the else statement. Now else statement will come in if we don't put anything between 0 and 100 or 90. So we are going together for that. Else if you get something that is not confined to that level, then definitely if you get something like -1, you will get that was an invalid grade, confirm with your examination. Then finally you close the else statement and then you return 0. So please note this. The if statement for multiple selection also must have the else statement. The nested if else statements are taken to be part of that if statement. So they are taken as one, and indeed this if must be closed with the else statement, which is actually its purpose is to cater for invalid action, invalid entry. So that way, I believe that if you get 50, definitely 50. Sorry, you put a score of 85. It will come and be checked here. It will be found to be lesser than that. So the system will go outside, come here. Yes, create all it. Then it will give you an A and a pass. If you put that 9, it will come and check this one, and then it will actually come. And that's why I say this should change. Kindly note that if the mark, remember I repeat again, this is supposed to be less or equals to 49. Kindly note that this one so that you can be able to understand. I don't want to confuse you. I want you to understand. If this operator must change, it should be less or equals to 49. So if we put that one and we use this particular, it will come here, check, here is less, and actually is not less than, is not more than 49. So basically it will have to display printf, your score is C, you failed. Please kindly let me know whether you have understood something from this explanation on this else if statement. It's a bit cumbersome, unlike case statement, which is actually a kind of remedy to else nested if else else. When you use switch case statement, it's much simpler and more easier to understand than using nested else if. And I decided to use this one before I talk about the case statement so that you can first understand the difficult part of this before, so that when you go to the case switch statement, life will be very easy for you. Kindly, I need to hear from you. I know right now you have not understood it fully, but I believe you have understood it a certain percentage of these nested else ifs that are within if statement for multiple selection. Ryan is typing, okay. Yes, it's not easy, Brian. We need to internalize it. And as a programmer, I can tell you this one, you need to go when you have taken your cup of tea in the evening, or you have taken your, maybe when you have taken supper, you might sleep. You go through this again, you try to unfold it again. Let it be one of the discussion in our WhatsApp group today. I'll appreciate for that.
Another question.
Yes, one, yes, please ask.
The reason why I was saying it is nested if else. Let's say
Yes.
we are told to write a flowchart about it.
Very good, very good. So and you can see I have not put any flowchart for this particular lesson today. Have you noted that?
Yes.
The reason why I did this, I never wanted our learners to get confused. Our next session, each and every slide will be having a flowchart. Are we getting that? So that it is easier for us to understand how to draw a flowchart for selections. And also the pseudocode. Very true. So is that okay, Shwani?
Yes, it's okay.
Yes, I took care of you. In fact, you can agree with me. If I could have put the flowcharts here and the pseudocode, you will not be able to understand the syntax of the code. You will be actually confusing. Yeah.
Yes.
In our next lesson, the same slide will be having a flowchart and a pseudocode. Agreed?
Agreed.
Very good. I decided to start from the hard area, then I go to the easier part of the learning, so that at the end of the day, you will be feeling that you are really getting what we are learning here. Now, should I briefly talk about the case statement, switch case statement? Should I? Class, should I? I'm sorry, today I've really taken you very fast. Should I talk about the case switch statement, switch case statement, sorry? Ibrahim, should I? Yeah, we have about, yes, please.
I have a question. Okay.
Yes,
Can this
yes.
can this if else if statements be replaced with the while loop?
Well, a very good
Yeah, while
question,
loop.
my brother.
Because
While,
I'm
yeah,
seeing
yes, continue. Yes,
while loop can actually serve the same purpose
yes.
as if else, because there's so much repetition. That's what I'm seeing.
Aha.
Yeah.
Now
so much
let me answer that question. So for
Yeah.
you and for the entire class.
Yeah.
While loop normally is used for the purpose of repeating the same sequence several times.
Yeah.
Are we there, Ibrahim?
Yeah,
But
I'm getting.
But while it cannot make a condition, okay?
Yeah,
Are we
yeah.
getting? It cannot do what? Cannot make a condition. And a good programmer must be able to actually be able to understand a condition or selection separately, and then again, after you become a good programmer, you can now be able to link the three control structures together. Like now, this case, the current program that you are looking at, if you enter this program into a compiler,
Yes.
it will only ask you to enter max once, and then it will stop. It will give you the output, and it will do what? Stop. If you have to enter for 20 students, then you will incorporate a loop. For example, you will say while student is equals or less than 20. Then you open a bracket and do the necessary. So I have no problem on the repetition.
I was
Repetition
saying
is
this.
normal. Yes,
I was
yes,
saying this. There's something
yes,
that I've typed there. Are you seeing the public chat?
yes. I've seen the increment and decrement. Yeah, I've seen
Yeah,
it. I've
actually,
seen
that
it.
one, yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
the
I've seen it.
document.
Very good. That one is
So,
normally
so
called.
you start from, I was saying you start from 90, then go to 80, 70, 60, 50, then
Yes,
40. Decrement.
yes. Yeah, that's okay. But you know,
Yeah.
what I want to clarify here,
Yeah.
selection conditions
Yeah.
cannot be cannot be decreased or increased within the condition, and the syntax remains. You can see the syntax you're using.
Yeah.
The what we call the operator for testing the conditions greater than equal. Are you getting that? The
Yeah. Yeah.
prime,
Yeah.
I would like you to not to confuse the operators with what we call the loop. Loop, we normally use what we call loop increment because we follow a sequence. The increment can go from 1 to 2 to 3 like that, right?
Yeah.
But now when you're doing the conditions, we are limited to these particular conditions greater than, less than, and then they must follow a particular criteria. Are we together?
I'm
Are we
getting. So,
together?
so in other words, you are saying you cannot
But
replace
but
this with a while loop or for loop.
we will incorporate.
You will
We
incorporate.
will incorporate. That's what I'm trying to put across. We will incorporate. Once we learn about loops,
Yeah.
you'll be able to get. I'm sure there's somewhere you are not. Once you learn about loops, you'll be able to know what is the purpose of looping. Looping is enabling you to do things several times, several
Yeah.
times, right?
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
conditions must be tested for those several times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then, if you have noted in my explanation, I've said for this
Yeah.
particular scenario whereby we are testing so much, we can use what we call switch case statement to be able to actually remove this particular tedious work that is happening. And initially I said else if statement they can be very confusing for that. It's a good encounter and a good engagement, Ibrahim. I'm really okay with it. But what I'm trying to let you know is that looping is supposed to enable you to do a particular action uh, several times, right? But here we
Yeah.
are checking a condition. The condition must be tested in a given range. All right?
Yeah. And I have a
Okay.
question again.
Please ask.
I have a question again.
Please ask. Then we have about
Yeah, the
15.
previous slide that you presented earlier.
Yes.
Can you, instead of using if else, can you use if and then use a logical operator like end, and then after that the statement will either appear false
Uh-huh.
or true.
Very good. Now, when you use the logic operator, you are comparing two conditions. That those
Yeah.
two conditions must be right. That one is achieved in what we call a nested if statement. They achieved in
Yeah.
what we call nested what?
If.
Nested if statement. In fact, if I can, you can allow me to go that because this question is coming up all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. This is what we call nested if statement that placed at the last of this lesson. When you have this, now you can now be able to use that. Yeah, nested if, if
Yeah.
and if. Okay,
Yeah.
it can be used in this particular area, which I'll be talking about later. Is that
Yeah.
okay? Is that
I'm
okay?
I'm actually
Yes.
getting. Yeah.
Yes. You can actually use and. All right. You can
And
use
yeah.
and.
Instead of
Yes.
I'm getting now. Yeah.
All right. Okay. We'll look at that when it comes to that. Are we there?
Yeah.
Very good engagement. The others are keeping quiet. I'm sure they are getting from your questions very good questions. I believe that they are really getting what we are trying to unfold. All right. Allow me to proceed so that we can wind up. We have some 10 minutes. Let me see what I can talk about the switch case statement, and then we stop there for today. And again, you download this particular notes and be able to read on your own. Now, switch case statement sometimes is mainly used to bring multiple selections in a more clear way and easier way to perform. Again, we repeat, multiple way selection is more than 3, 5, 7 of 10. Now, for us to use switch case statement, we normally use a keyword switch case. This one, we normally use this in C or C++. Please note that I made a mistake on that. Again, I was dreaming about C++ because I had a class also on that. Then I'm using this example to unfold that. Write a program to ask us a student to enter his or her score, and the program use switch case statement, and it will display the correct grade in reference to the score given. So we are saying between 80 to 100, that will be a distinction. 60 to 69, that will be, this is supposed to be 60 to 79. Please note that will be a credit. Then 50 to 69, 50 to 59 will be a pass. 40 to 49 will be a weak pass, and 0 to 39 will be a fail. Let's see how we can be able to write a program to implement this particular table of score and grade using what we call switch statement. So in this program, I will go direct to explanation. We have our header file, we have the main function, we open the body of the main function, then we declare a variable score for inputting our mark. Then we say enter the score in your structured programming. We take the score using scanf into the computer RAM, and then since it's a whole number, we have the percentage D, then we actually link it. Then now in comparison, using switch to compare, to test, you bring in the keyword switch. This means check the value. Switch open bracket and bring in the variable you used that you want to compare. Like now we want to compare score because score is the one that we have just entered. And then now for us to have the range, we open the body of the switch statement. You open the body of the switch statement with the curly bracket, and inside here, the range is achieved by the keyword case. So we shall say case 70 dot 200. Note these 3 dots are very important. The 3 dots are actually marks how the range is given in the C or C++ program. So we are saying if the mark that was entered is between 70 to 100, then we give the action print distinction using the normal format. Then we break and have a semicolon. Class, in this particular explanation, we have encountered 3 new words. Switch, this is where the condition is stated. We are test the value. Switch score. Place it in this, and then open the body of the switch, and then start now checking the case. Is the mark which is here between 70 to 100? Yes, if that's the case, give us the result. And then you can see the side print and distinction. Then we have a break. We have this break. Very, very important. Break, semicolon. Then allow me not to talk about it in a moment. I will talk about it after I've gone through these cases. The next case, if the value that was entered is actually between 60 to 69, remember I told you to make that change, then again we'll have a credit and then we break. If the value that has been found here is between 50 to 59, again we have a pass, then we have a break. If the value that has been entered here is bound to be 40 to 49, we have a weak pass, then we break. If the value that was entered is between 0 to 39, we shall have a fail and then break. Then finally, the switch statement must have, or the cases, when you finish the number of cases you have, you must have the default keyword. The default keyword is normally used to mark the end of case statements you are using in your switch, and the default is normally like saying else. Default means that you are going to give a message that what you have entered is not within the range. Let's say, for example, you entered 110, or you entered -1. That one is not within this case range which has been given. So default is normally used to cater for any value that is not within the range that we are comparing, which is actually between 100 and 0. So the default keyword must be there. Class, the default keyword must be there. Allow me to go back again. After that, sorry, you close the body of the switch statement, you return 0 value to the system, and then you close the body of the function. Then let me go back again and explain the meaning of the following. Case, please note this case, you must have your full colon, and then yes, here there's a point missing. Please note that full colon, you must always have a full colon, then give a range. A range is given by giving 3 dots, the lowest limit and the upper limit. 73 dots, 70 dot 100. If the value that has been entered is between 70 to 100, give us our action. Actually, the action will come. The full dots are here, that's right. They should be after the case. Then, what is the action? Print distinction, then break. The break keyword is very, very important. It's normally used to, if the value, let's say for example, you enter 70, it will be compared and be found very right. This is where we are supposed to. So the flow will come inside this particular case, display this, and when it encounters the break is telling this particular flow of the program that please come out of the switch. So the flow will come out of the switch and then it will come below here, meaning that after you encounter the right answer and you display the action, and then you are supposed to come out of that particular switch statement because you have achieved your goal, and then it will come outside here. So break keyword normally is used to move the flow of the control of the program so that we avoid, like now we avoid, after displaying distinction, you avoid going through the second and displaying the second, that like that. So this one is very important to check. When a result is found, you must come out of the switch and come out of the switch completely, and then be able to return 0 and be able to close. So in this case, if the program is going to be given 85, you will get a distinction. If the program is going to be 39, this is the case, you will get a fail. And if it's going to be 120, it's not within the range, default case will be displayed, score not in the range. I'm not interested about the result. We are interested on your understanding on this. Kindly, I would like you to digest all this I've gone through. Today I've really done a lot on your side. I've taxed your brain so much. But we are going to repeat. We shall repeat what you have done today, so that at the end of the day, we will have understood what is going to happen. Yes, please ask Ibrahim.
Please, can you repeat what the break statement means there?
What? Sorry, let me
Can you explain what the break statements explain there?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I explain again. Eh?
Yeah.
Okay, let me repeat again for the entire class. Okay, yeah, the break keyword is very important. You have noted that in our case statements, we have breaks. We have this break, we have the break, we have the break, we have the break, we have the break, even the default. Let me explain by doing this. For example, if I remove this break here, and then I remove this break, I remove this break, we remove these breaks, we remove that, we remove all of them, and then we give our program a score of 70. The program will go with 70 and check the case and then find true 70 is within here. It will display distinction. Then after displaying the distinction, it will not find the break keyword. It will go to the second one and again it will display without comparing. It goes the third one, display without comparing, display without comparing, display. So then the result, the day you'll have all these results displayed. So break keyword is very important. After the flow of the program goes inside the action and displays or gives out the action, it must come out of the switch so that the subsequent cases will not be displayed. So this is very important because after showing us the result on that particular case, do not continue with the rest of the cases. Simply come out of the switch and actually end your program. I don't know whether Ibrahim have made sense to that explanation. Please let
I
me
have
know.
good. Yeah, I have understood.
And the rest I believe so. So with those few remarks or notemen, class, I am glad that today's quorum is very, very encouraging. You are quite a number, which is very good. Let me know from public chat whether you have followed, and we shall extend our conversation to WhatsApp today if you have no issues, and then we proceed well because of time. Kevin, can you say something? I can see your mic is up. Okay.
Okay. And the assignment you gave,
Yes.
do
Oh,
we
speak up.
upload it?
Yes.
Where do we upload? Where do we upload the assignment you gave?
Or the one
Because
on
you
the
said
portal? The one in the portal.
in yes.
Oh, I think I allowed uploading. Sorry, Kevin. You can take a picture and then upload.
Okay.
Is it possible to do that?
Yes.
Okay, you'll do that. Kindly do them because those are important. They're very important as far as we are concerned, and they will actually there your marks will never get lost. It will never get lost. The system will be having it, even if the server is not in Kenya. We shall get it. Okay.
Yes.
Another question? Another question? Kindly, I really want to know so that we can wind up our class today. Then we can proceed tomorrow, God willing. We will be heading for a meeting in some few minutes time. Let me hear from you whether I am doing justice to you, whether am I too fast or you are following now that we improved on our sound clarity. Are we doing justice to ourselves?
Yes, you are doing justice.
That's I'm happy to learn that. We'll continue like that, and we shall be programming. Programming will never end. This is just an handshake. The handshake should go forever. Now the rest, I can see we have quite a number. We are now 11 of us. So we confirm, Mohammed? Can you confirm that your case one, your case full name, you just said, Vincent also, Ibrahim again, Ian, and Osborne, Kevin again. I will appreciate. I will really appreciate.
I am okay.
All right. Thank you. Now, where are your where are the other members who present the other party? You should always tell them we have classes. Huh? Okay. Kindly and make sure that your colleagues are here. Today, I think we have gentlemen only.
Kevin
Make sure
Ogura.
right? Yeah, ensure that. Very good. I'm happy for this. Allow me to wind up the session today here. That is also typing. Let me see. Okay, thank you for your resilience and taking a lot of programming is not a joke, but you are really equal to the task. That's very good. How many programming language are you learning this semester?
It's only this one.
Oh, you have just started. 2.
Yes.
Which one again? Ibrahim is learning another one.
SQL.
MySQL, MySQL, okay.
Yeah.
Scripting language, Okay, it's also good. That one for database management. Okay.
Yeah.
That one is also a good one. I think we are doing well. I think we're doing well. We can wind up this class because in some few minutes time I'll be engaged in a meeting concerning you. And all these meetings are about you, how we can be able to make you happy. Sifuna, can you ask a question? Sifuna, you have been told by Brian to ask a question. Which is the question? Maybe you are the underground the reparation.
Oh no. Leave alone with that guy. I'm okay.
Oh, it's your friend, eh? Okay.
Yes.
It's your friend, okay, no problem. He's trying to make the class lively. Thank you, guys, and have a good evening. And if there's no any other question, please stay safe. You know, this virus is really making us do things abnormally, and continue praying that God will enable us come out of this situation. Yeah.
Yes. Do you think we're going to go back to school on September?
From the look of things, Brian, all universities are making an arrangements, and they are actually very working hard. The COVID-19 regulations, putting all those. I can see that is happening. So we'll wait for the Ministry of Education. You know, they are saying that they will access they are going to assess the institution of higher learning, and then they are going to give a feedback. And again, Brian, this will depend on what the president is going to give out directives. You see, there's a lot of the issue is that there is a search of this problem,
Yes.
and that is bringing a challenge. So let's wait for this the management to see what they'll give us. But let us hope for the best. Brian, you really want to come? Ibrahim, you want to say something also?
No.
You're good. Thank you. Allow me to prepare to enter another meeting. We shall meet in the evening. Please download the notes and read them. The evening you can chat me. I'll be very grateful. Then again, I hope you can always download these videos for your own learning. Okay? Kindly confirm. Do you normally download them?
Yes.
Please do download them for your own learning. Thank you so much. Let me stop here for today. And a record of 100 minutes have been made today. I will see you next time, and we can also link to the WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Have a good evening, and I'm hoping that I've not rushed you. Everything is fine. You can now be able to relax. Is it okay, Ian, Ibrahim, Kevin, Mohammed, Ocheno, Shuan, and Sifuna, Vincent? Just confirm on the chat, then we can move on. Okay, thank you. Yes, Ongagi.
Yeah, so far so good.
Okay, good. Let's meet next time. Thank you so much. I'm logging out so that I can enter another meeting right now. Thank you, and bye for now.
Thank you.